We've owned the FMS Su-27 for a full year, from crashing it
Nice. Not nice at all, buddy.
Oh, shoot.
to crashing it to crashing it yet again.
Oh my.
We are clearly the experts on how to properly fly the Su-27. There's nothing like durability testing to really give you an idea of how good a jet is and how much better it can be with some mods. In typical FMS fashion, the quality is top-notch. You get what you pay for here. It comes shipped properly and every part fits together seamlessly, unlike the Eagle J15 that we picked up from Porcupine RC. Not only did it take them 10 days to deign to ship it to us, they didn't even bother attempting to ship it until we'd mentioned that we had a decent-sized YouTube channel. Horrible service. On top of that, this is how it arrived. Literally. No packaging whatsoever, just airplane parts tossed into a box with random bits of foam everywhere. The plane was missing a wing tube and didn't come with a manual. Literally nothing about this jet made any sense, and making matters worse, the fit and finish of the model were just garbage tier, so that's where it went. Right in the garbage. Don't waste your money at Porcupine RC, and don't buy the Eagle J15. If you want a Sukhoi, buy the FMS Su-27 or the Freewing Su-35. Both are excellent examples of the Sukhoi type. The Su-27 comes in two forms, nose heavy or tail heavy. Just about everyone who has flown it nose heavy because that's the stock setup. Tail heavy requires modifying the air brake compartment to turn it into a battery tray. It isn't hard to do, it just takes time to carve out the foam. It's worth doing though because you can make the jet do stuff that it otherwise wouldn't be able to do. Aerobatics with a nose-heavy setup is less than stellar. It's still neat, but not as cool as the crazy post-stall maneuvering that you can pull off with the tail-heavy Su-27. The nose-heavy Su-27 is still fun to fly and does all sorts of awesome maneuvers, but it can't do a Cobra maneuver. A tail-heavy setup can, though, and easily.
Holy crap, that looked cool. Ooh, that was phenomenal. Holy shit, it went backward.
A nose-heavy setup is definitely more stable and far less likely to get into trouble, so modifying your jet to fly like mine is something that you should consider, but only undertake if your skill level is up there. Also, it's literally unflyable without a gyro, so all those guys who complain about gyros in RC planes can stuff it because you need a ton of pitch gains to make it fly stable. The model was not designed to fly like this, but that's kind of the whole point of Two Brothers Radio Control, seeing what these airplanes can actually do, especially when they're set up to perform. And if you say a gyro isn't scale, go talk to the Blue Angels because they run flight computers and they're basically gyros, guys. Let's get over it already.
That was cool.
If you want the best aerobatics you can get out of this jet, including seeing it slide through maneuvers like the full scale, you're gonna have to perform the battery tray mod. There's really no way around this. Check the RC Group's FMS Su-27 thread because I posted info about doing it there, and so have a few other guys. The full potential of this jet is unlocked with the tray mod, but it goes from being an intermediate skill jet to being very much an expert level jet instantly when you do this. If you don't use a gyro, you cannot fly this jet. You do not have the reaction times needed to keep it stable. The gyro does, though, and that opens up a new world of flying, true super maneuverability in RC form without thrust vectoring. You can see all of the nose versus tail heavy flying comparisons in real time, and if this looks interesting to you, I would implore you to consider giving it a shot. Just be aware that it's much harder to fly like this, but also way more fun. The differences don't just extend to maneuverability in the air, they also affect how the jet lands and takes off, and being honest, I think the nose-heavy takeoffs are better. They're more predictable, they're more scale-like, and they're easier to control. The tail-heavy setups launch like a rocket, they're difficult to predict, and they're also awesome in their own way. They could be less aggressive by using lower stick priority in AS3X, which would let the gyro decide when the best time to rotate would be, rather than letting the unstable airframe launch itself into the sky. Landings are also where the differences become night and day. Nose-heavy landings will fight you even with the flaperon setup that I'm using. It takes an uncomfortable amount of work with back elevator pressure to bring it in. It's also prone to bouncing, which kinda sucks. The tail-heavy Su-27 with gains cranked up to max will float in effortlessly. It does try to pitch up on its own, so you have to get used to pushing the nose down instead of pulling it up. But you reward it with a much better landing jet with a very slow rollout when you land it right. If you're sticking with the nose-heavy Su-27, I highly recommend landing with the air brake extended. It actually does slow the jet down, which it sorely needs, but it also makes it more stable at higher angles of attack, probably because it acts like a massive third vertical stabilizer at this scale. The landings with the air brake deployed were the best landings that I got with the nose-heavy Su-27. Something to consider. A common question we get at Two Brothers is, what's your favorite airplane? And the answer that I like to give is that I love any plane that I can modify to be as agile as it's capable of being, short of installing a thrust vectoring system. I live for seeing the stock airframe perform ridiculous maneuvers that most other setups can't even begin to match. Maverick was right when he said that it's the pilot, not the plane. But having a properly set up airframe makes a huge difference in performance too. And I'll definitely recommend that you consider the tray mod to the Su-27. It's a real pain in the ass to install batteries afterward, but the jet flies so much better, it's a wonder FMS never made it so that you could get the CG further back than the stock setup. They tried though, since the jet does come with nearly 120 grams of weight in the tail. I'm hoping FMS re-engineers it and gives us a version 2 with the battery position under the back of the cockpit in stock form. Unfortunately, pushing the limits does mean that my planes wreck sometimes, and this one is no exception. My custom Su-27 got into an unrecoverable flat spin, and I'll be repainting my new Su-27 into the UPEO scheme and performing some more mods to it to get it tail heavier, but nowhere near as absurd as it was before. If you like what you see, use the code FMS2NR on fmshobby.com via the link in the description to pick up your own Su-27 or J11. They're fun jets, they're easy to fly, and they're super cool to look at in the sky. A year later and they're still a jet that we love flying. We just want them to be less nose-heavy. Thanks for watching, and congrats to Gorilla Glue Poo, who won the Discord banner image contest in October. He gets a free Two Brothers sticker for winning, and you can win too if you join us on Discord and post in the server contest channel. See you guys next time.